Hello and welcome to Music Made Simple. Lesson 7, Clef Signs, G and F clefs. In Lesson 6, we learned how to give names to the lines and spaces of the staff. We learned that once a line or space is given a name, we can derive the next or the preceding line or space to it through the use of the first 7 letters of the English alphabet. Kindly revise Lesson 6, or if you have never watched it, please watch Lesson 6 so that you can understand this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the use of the clef sign to assign permanent names to the lines and spaces of the staff. 2 of these clef signs are going to be studied today. In a future lesson, we are going to study the 3rd type. We have learnt in the last lesson that a line on the staff can have any of the names A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. We were hence able to give names to lines and spaces based on assumed names for the previous line or space. It is possible, however, to assign a permanent name to any line or space on the staff. This could be done with the help of a sign called the clef. A clef sign is a sign that is placed at the beginning of a staff to give permanent names to the lines and subsequently spaces on the staff. There are 3 major types of clefs: the G or treble clef, the F or bass clef, the C or movable clef. In this lesson, we will treat the first 2. The treble clef. The treble clef, which is also called the G clef, is a stylized letter G. It is called G clef because the lower loop encircles the 2nd line of the staff, and this line automatically becomes G whenever this clef is present. By fixing the 2nd line of the staff as G, the names of the other lines and spaces are determined. Since the 2nd line is G, the 2nd space, which is above the 2nd line, becomes A. 3rd line becomes B. 3rd space is now C. 4th line, D. 4th space, E. And the 5th line becomes F. The space and line below G are also fixed in a similar manner. That means the first space will be F and the first line becomes E. These names now become the permanent names of the staff. In order to remember the names, some people have suggested that you should separate the lines from the spaces. So while the lines are E, G, B, D, and F, the spaces will be F, A, C, and E. You will agree with me that that's much easier to remember than the way it was before. To make the learning still easier, some musicologists have advised that you think of E, G, B, D, F as every good boy deserves favor, and FACE to stand for face. With that, you'll be able to remember the names of the lines and the names of the spaces. Every good boy deserves favor. E, G, B, D, F. And face. F, A, C, E. When a treble or G clef is placed on the staff can be called the treble staff. The treble staff is the staff that is normally used by female voices in choral music. It is also used by instruments such as the violin, the flute, the clarinet, and the trumpet. The bass clef is also called F clef, and it is written as shown. It is called the F clef because it encircles the fourth line of the staff, which is then designated as F. It is usually used for pitches lower than can be accommodated by the treble clef. The F clef is also so called because the two dots are placed on either side of the fourth line, which is designated as having the name F. Names of the other lines and spaces can then be determined, as was the case with the treble clef. The fourth space becomes a G and the fifth line A. Going back down the staff makes the third space E, the third line D, the second space C, the second line B, the first space A, and the first line G. As in the case of the treble clef, the lines and spaces can be learned separately. G, B, D, F, A for the lines, and A, C, E, G for the spaces. For beginners, it is suggested that G, B, D, F, A be thought of as good boys deserve favor always. Good boys deserve favor always. While A, C, E, G might stand for all cows eat grass. Of course, you can develop your own names or sentence to fit the letters by yourself. Anything you can use to remember them. When the bass clef is placed on a staff, the staff becomes known as the bass staff. The male voices of tenor and bass use this staff in choral music. Instruments that use the bass staff include the cello, the double bass, the trombone, and the tuba. In this lesson, we've learned about G and F clefs, two signs that are used to assign permanent names to the lines and spaces of the staff. The treble or G clef for the treble staff and the bass or F clef for the bass staff. Next lesson, we are going to learn about notating pitches that are higher or lower than the 5-line staff for both the treble staff and the bass staff. That's it for today, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe by clicking the red button below the video in case you have not done so that you can continue to get updates of new videos as they come out. And also, if you have enjoyed this lesson, please click like. Until next time, God bless you.